Good morning. So, first and foremost, do not watch this video if you are easily offended, especially if it has things to do, if you are easily offended with same-sex things and everything like that. When people talk about it, when people don't do it, you got a lot of people out here that get offended when a person don't do what they do. A lot of times they get mad when you don't see things in the way that they see it. Um, so yeah, just don't watch it if you're easily offended. But I also want to say that I do have people that are gay and lesbian in my family. I treat them the same way as I treat everybody else. Even my uncle, I'd be like, hey, unc, I just treat him just like I treat everybody else. He's still my uncle. But um, I want to talk about this because I feel like it's important. Maybe to help somebody too that may be going through something like this. Because the thing is, the enemy did try to get me to go that route when I was going through witchcraft, and it was the heaviest display of that I've ever seen throughout my whole life. I remember times whenever I was a little girl, he kind of tried it, and I was like, no, even when I didn't even know if I liked boys or not back then. But I did know, though, a little while down the line that I liked boys. So that's when I got of a certain age and development in my mind to even like boys. That's when I knew I liked boys. And then I grew as a young lady to like men. So, but whenever I was going through all of that, he would not only send a lot of men, but he also sent some women too. And y'all keep in mind that I could hear the demonic spirits, okay? And I've talked to some of y'all and I asked y'all, do y'all hear the voices and things? And some of y'all said no. And I told you all the same thing, pretty much just count your blessings, because that was a horrible part of it too, being able to hear them talking to you. And I would hear what they were saying to me, that sometimes they would use somebody else's voice to talk to me, and sometimes they would try to use my voice and their voice was extra creepy. So I could hear it in the spirit. But I really do feel like people that are under that is under a lot of them are under a curse or a spell or something. People that are in that community, a lot of them, some of it is a generational curse. A lot of it's generational curse, or I mean, and I do believe a person can be born like that. But the way that the enemy fought hard to try to get me to do that was crazy. And I never took the bait. I knew that I like men. I like men. I don't like women. I don't look at women in that type of way. Now, a woman is beautiful. It's easy for me to say, to recognize and see that she looks good and that she may have a great personality, or that she is, hardworking. It's easy for me to acknowledge another woman's characteristics and outside beauty and things. But I don't look at women like that. So with me knowing this throughout my years of life, I knew that that's not what I wanted. So when I didn't take the bait, the enemy attacked me heavily. And I just said to myself, y'all just going to have to attack me, because I'm not doing that. I'm not going that route. And that's not me. That's not what I want. Okay. So every time that I turned it down, I got attacked. And it was fine with me. And then I would hear them in the spirit saying, well, if you do this, you don't have to worry about having children. And like I told you guys a long time ago, that wasn't in my plan to have children. And the enemy knew this, because I remember telling the girl that did it that I wasn't planning on having any. But I told her, I said, if I do get pregnant, I'm keeping my baby. That's what I told her. I said, I wouldn't get no abortion or anything like that. So years passed, and I remember this time the enemy tried me again. Why am I always in the grocery store when a lot of stuff happened? But I was in the grocery store, and this young lady, I was standing in line, and this girl just made this face, that she wanted me type of thing. And I just turned back to what I was doing. I was like, what in the world? Because a lot of things that occurred throughout that time period in my life, I had never even experienced any of that. And some of the stuff, not even before then. And I also remember the fact that it seemed that every girlfriend that I had, they turned out to be like that. And one girl I was friends with for years, and I seen it in her before she even told me, but I stayed friends with her because I liked her. She was cool. She waited years later to tell me that she was like that. And I said, girl, I've been knew you was like that. She said, you been knew? I said, yeah, I knew, I've been knew. She said, how did you know? I said, I just knew, and she had never came on to me or nothing. So I figured, hey, it's not bothering me. That was my mindset back then with that. So I have a sort of a different one now with that, but it's just crazy how every friend girl that I had ended up being like that. The ones that actually got close to me was the ones that ended up liking women. So it some things that the enemy does are he can persuade certain people very easily. So it lets me know too that a lot of people are not like that. Some people just under a curse. A lot of people just under a curse, and then they got put in some kind of situation, and they just made a decision to do that. They probably thought back to some stuff that happened in their childhood, and they feel like, okay, well, I'm going to be like this now because apparently I'm this. And so the enemy twists their mind in that area to make them feel like that they are that. There's some people out here I feel like they really are, but I know too that there was a system that I was telling you guys about that was created to make other people feel like that they are too, and that they can be too, and it's okay and all that. It's really not, because if it was, the enemy would not have been using that to try to get me. That's just common sense. He wasn't going to use anything good, and especially that. I fought that with all my might, and like I said, I got attacked several times. So I just want to let y'all know this. If you are going through witchcraft and you starting to become confused about your sexuality, that's part of the spell. That's part of the spell to get you to go over on that side. It's just going to make things worse. It ain't going to make things any better for you. A lot of people don't get attacked in certain areas of that because that's the enemy wants the person to be comfortable. That's what I'm feeling, that the enemy wants the person to be comfortable in their sin. And y'all don't forget, this is a Christian channel. This is a God channel. I love what God love and I hate what God hate. I'm just like I'm against that. I don't agree with that. I'm not in agreement with that. I'm also not in agreement with fornication, period. Even if it's with the opposite sex. I'm also not in agreement with adultery. I'm not in agreement with lying. I'm not a liar. I'm not quick to tell a lie or anything, and I've always been like that my whole life. So yeah, so don't get that twisted up. And I just want to put this on display and let you guys know, because with me knowing how I was, and especially coming up and me having crushes and stuff, a lot of the guys didn't even know I had a crush on them, and they still don't know after all these years because I didn't say nothing. I also never been the type to shoot my shot either, so that's another thing. I felt like, hey, if he liked me back, then he would come talk to me. I wouldn't have to do all that, And if he talked to me, then I would engage and let him know that I'm interested. But other than that, I'm not going to go after anybody. That's just not me. And I don't get mad at men for approaching me either. It's the harassing part on the wrong guy that I don't like. And I be like, I done told this man clearly he need to go. But other than that, yeah, I've always liked men. So just think about what you really like the whole time. Don't let the enemy trick you into thinking that you like something that you really don't, because those are those spirits trying to put perversion in your life, okay? And then some of it is also due to forms of mental illness as well. But yeah. All right, y'all. Oh, Lord. I halfway didn't want to talk about this, but okay. All right, love y'all. Bye. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. It was this young lady that made a comment a couple of years back when I first started talking about witchcraft, and she brought this up. I was like, wow. So how in the world did she know this? But apparently she has been through the same thing, because she know what I'm talking about. Whenever I know she would know what I'm talking about, but I knew exactly what she was talking about when she mentioned that it will try to turn you to the same sex. I'm gonna say opposite sex. It will try to turn you to the same sex, and that is so true, y'all. And it's heavy too. A lot of it is real. It's real strong. Like, you have to really, really, you have to outpower that thing. It was strong. And I knew I wasn't like that though. I knew it was because of the spell. By this time I think I knew it was because of something else, that it wasn't me. So that's how I broke out of that.